I'm Carlos Andres Castillo Garcia, and I'm going to start with this presentation talking about my experiences learning a foreign language. So, I I've been really interested in learning languages, mostly English, but I mean languages in general since I was a kid. I remember I had a lot of Anglo-Saxon influence from the United States, from the United Kingdom, through um, movies, series, cartoons. By the way, my uncle used to travel a lot to the United States. He used to bring presents from there, such as clothes, toys, even though comics in English. And I used to read. And you know what? My I didn't speak English, but it was fun. I don't know how to explain or I don't know how to put it into words, but it was it was fun, and it was my first contact with English speaking content. So when when I was studying at high school, I decided to take my learning more seriously, finding an English school, which is pretty easy because there are plenty of them here in Colombia. But the deal is that some some schools don't offer quality, or some teachers are not well prepared. Some teachers don't have the proficiency to talk and to teach English, by the way, which is terrible. But in general, my learning experience was incredible. I had Colombia teachers, amazing Colombia teachers, and amazing English speaker, native English speaker teachers. So I decided to immerse myself, to have direct contact with the target language through cultural exchange groups. I was done with books, with videos, with things like repeat after me and stuff like that. And I decided to take the first step to immerse myself in the culture, and by joining cultural exchange groups. I met a lot of people on social media, mostly from countries uh, like the United States, Australia, the United Kingdom, and I used to have 1 hour conversation. For example, we used to have 30 minutes in Spanish, 30 minutes in English. And it was really good because I was having, as I said previously, direct contact with the language. I was immersing myself in the language and in the culture. And it was a win-win situation because that person was helping me, but I was also helping that person, which is good. And the experience is just wonderful. So, in my humble opinion, I believe my English has improved a lot since I started working in an English speaking environment in a United States based company here in Colombia, working with American colleagues, speaking English and dealing with documents in English, sending emails and commitments in English. This constant um, interaction and entire immersion and exposure to the language is just amazing. And you start internalizing that content and you start internalizing the language like if were your native language. I'm not being cocky, I'm just being honest. I've been doing this for more than 10 years. It's not like, oh, after 1 year of practice, my English is perfect. However, my English is not perfect. I need things to improve, but I believe I can communicate with English speakers, and it's not a big deal. You know what? Being constantly exposed to to English has been just a valuable asset for my professional development and for my professional background, by the way. So, who says learning a language must be boring? You can make your own learning enjoyable and engaging. In my case, I've been consuming content in English, such as series, movies, podcasts, even though video games, videos. I don't know, movies about war, about romance, or podcasts about masculinity, fitness, mental health, or playing video games. You can learn through video games, and it's pretty useful. And anybody learning English through video games should give it a try. It's just fun. So there are plenty of possibilities to practice or learn a language. And sometimes I practice with artificial intelligence models such as ChatGPT. You can have conversations in English, like in my case with ChatGPT, and after that, ChatGPT is going to provide feedback about your strengths and about the areas you need to improve, which is good. Make the learning more accessible for everyone, since not everybody can go to overseas or can go to an English speaking country to practice, or some people cannot afford an English academy. But having ChatGPT for free is just good. You can practice, and you are immersing yourself by having a direct contact with the language, because producing the language, speaking the target language, is a way of active immersion. And in my case, like consuming content in English is like passive immersion. I try to intertwine these two types of immersion, making my entire learning experience enjoyable and meaningful. So this was my experience. Thank you.